Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Capricorn November 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, Clairvoyant. Well, this month we have an interesting deck for you. It's actually quite a romantic deck with the art in it. It's a deck about vampires. But the vampires are depicted as, fortunately, beautiful women and handsome men. So something there for everybody, no doubt. And the name of the deck is what is the name of the deck? The name of the deck is the Tarot of Vampires. Easy to find, I assume, with a title like that. Nothing fancy, the Tarot of Vampires. Now, you know, don't you, that I provide clairvoyant readings for people from all over the world over FaceTime and Skype. And if you might be interested in seeing what's involved in that, just check out the information that's in the description below. Now, I charge for that, I have to. But there's another gift which I was given at birth, which I provide happily, which I do not charge for. And I offer it to you if it calls to you, and that is the spiritual gift of healing. Now, the healing comes through me and not from me. Now, where it comes from, you can join the dots and make your own mind up. Now, there's no religion involved. Obviously, there's some spirituality, because that's how reality is. Now, you might say, well, look, if you're not charging for it, it's just no good. You know, I'm getting ripped off somehow or other. I don't know. Look, the thing is this. The actual reality is that were I ever to have charged for it, and I've been doing this for decades, were I to have charged for it and were I to do so now, it wouldn't work, because it's been provided to me, I know, on the basis that I get nothing in return for it. So no fee, no obligation, no expectation, nothing will be recommended or sold. It literally is what it is. Now, if this calls out to you, if this is speaking to you for some emotional concerns or something, you know, make use of it. I mean, you're not the first. I talk to people from YouTube every day for healing, and I'm very glad to do so, you know? So it's, you don't feel shy, you're one of many, and I can assure you I forget everything anyway at the end of the session. Now, we're going to, by the way, there's no video advertisements breaking their way into this content, and so you get to enjoy the experience of the reading without any interruption. We're going to take 5, because that's all we're going to need. So, show me the magic. The Ace of Grails. It's a good start, is it not? The Chariot. The 8 of Skulls. The 4 of Grails. Gee, this energy is so strong and good for you. And there's the Magician. Oh, look. What a great month it's going to be for you. Anyway, I'm not going to give anything away yet. I think we should go through it so you can see how this is going to unfold. And I'll bring the camera around so that you can see the paintings on the cards while the cosmic energies swirl and speak to us both, taking you on to emotional fulfillment and success while I do the reading for you. Well, what a fascinating month it looks like for you. Love, passion, new starts, using success here, making things happen, abundance and love. Success, abundance. I can't help but deal with this first card that you drew, this Ace here, which is speaking to me of, for you this month, emotional clarity and overflowing love. Also a deep love of yourself, which is very important, and giving and receiving. I think that Scorpio, Sagittarius and Libra are likely to be important to you at this time. You know, this love which you are feeling for yourself internally expresses itself outwardly as well, clearly and openly, and will be seen and responded to by other people. The giving of love to you and from you will happen effortlessly now. This is really a love in its purest sense, an abundance of emotional riches, maybe a new relationship. I do get the feeling of a birth or a pregnancy around here, I have to say. Maybe we'll hear of something like that. But a lot of sensual passion. In a sense, it's like you are a flower and you are giving off perfume, and the petals of your flower attract people to you, and you are now in contact with all-embracing love. It fills you, and you'll be able to pass it on generously and lavishly to other people as well. But passion, I think, is what you will be looking for and expressing this month. You only need one person to love you, but for them to love you free like a wildfire, crazy like the moon, always like tomorrow, sudden like an inhaling of breath, and overcoming and relentless like the tide. And you will, I think, also be saying to yourself that a good love is one that casts you into the wind. It sets you ablaze and makes you burn through the skies and ignite the night like a comet, the kind that cuts you loose like a wildfire, and you can't stop running simply because you keep on burning everything you touch. I say that's a good love, one that burns and flies, and you are going to run with it. Now, there's some other interesting things happening for you as well, and turning points here. This is a time when it is a turning point for the better for you, when things may not necessarily have been going so well. Well, this is the depiction of the Chariot, I suppose. And what this is speaking of is that you will be experiencing new beginnings. This is a change now for the good. There is a triumph here in the face of adversity, and you'll be overcoming problems, and you'll have success with little or no support from other people. Victory over adversity, because you will, I think, have come through a difficult period and overcoming, and you'll have the courage to act. And in particular, I think there's also here success over previous negative patterns. There may well be something of a focus on self-discipline, but there's a lot of healing here as well, and looking in towards yourself. You'll be moving towards higher goals, but remaining, I think, centered and protective of yourself. The reason why I say protective of yourself is, like the armor on this person here, the energy that I'm getting here is Cancer, ruled, as you probably know, by the moon. Well, you'll be examining, I think, all possible consequences before you dare to set this chariot of yours in motion on a new beginning, because once you start, there won't be any turning back. Nothing's going to be able to stop that journey. Now, this new beginning could be an actual physical journey, or it could be the start of a new phase in a relationship, or a living situation, or in the workplace. Don't decide anything hastily. Everything requires, I think, exact examination and preparation, just as this charioteer is making sure he has a proper aim before letting that arrow fly. But everything does point towards favorable developments for you. Now, these oncoming changes, I think, bring with them a lot of excitement and unrest. I will say, though, that this is definitely a time to avoid chaotic, disorganized, or loveless relationships. I think that this start is going to leave behind the boring routine of daily life Inspiration and ideas are going to abound within you, and you'll be expanding your areas of activity in your daily life. I think you are now in a position to engage successfully in a lot of different activities, because this variety is going to enrich and stimulate you. But you're not going to lose sight of your ultimate goal. Really, the path between you and your goal is paved with golden stones. Now, the oncoming change promises to lead to a positive phase of your life, so ready yourself, put your affairs in order, examine all the possibilities there. I think you're going to leave a lot behind. Now maybe ask yourself what area of your life will be changing. Are you ready to get rid of the old and bring in the new? Look for or create for yourself a loving, secure environment so you can plan the change or journey. I'm getting the feeling here that your body might also need some attention and activity now. But say this to yourself: I motivate others positively. I am responsible for what I cause, and I can accomplish things really well and with ease, and I am putting my life in order and preparing for the new beginning. Now, on the path of your new beginnings and on the path towards your success, you are aided here by this energy, which has got a lot of Mercury around it. Mercury is, of course, the planet associated with two things: with analytical thought, that is, with a good mind, and excellent communication skills. So you will be a genius at communication, almost brilliant, really, and you will have a bias towards action, and you'll have a desire for power, which I do think you'll be able to bring about as a result of putting these ideas of yours, these desires of yours, into action. You'll have tremendous willpower, and with this tremendous communication ability here, you might even be able to manipulate people or situations around you to get what it is that you desire. This represents here the will, wisdom, and word through which the world was created. Mercury, if you like, balances on top of a fence and juggles all the different things needed to make things happen. And the four elements of the tarot are here: fire, air, earth, and water. But Mercury is neither male nor female, or more particularly, both. And that duality means that this Mercury energy can bring about truth or falsehoods. But you will be, as a result of this, also looking at all current ideas and judgments and calling them into question. Now, Mercury is a very creative creature, incidentally. And as a creative creature, Mercury knows no conscience, and he uses all these tools, all methods, to arrive at the goal. Now, the temptation for you to misuse your talents might be great. You will, however, develop a sort of a superiority and power here, but I do know that this massively focused mind can sometimes lead Mercury or practitioners on the border between white and black magic. You will be able to use your talents in a way which are self-seeking or also in the service of love. I also think that that at the moment you are going to have a great sense of timing, knowing when to advance, when to withdraw, and when to Sit back and let things happen patiently. That's what I'm getting from this thing underneath it here. You might find that you're actually very gifted in the visual arts or music, mass media, public relations. You'll have a very good ability to see other people's communication patterns. Look, really, you have at your disposal brilliant capabilities which you should share with other people. And one important task will be to find or create the proper surroundings, as we spoke, for your activities. Now, in what areas lie your talents? Concentrate on what you're good at. Don't worry about things that you're not good at. And with what methods and in what surroundings can you pass on these talents to other people? Visualize your ideal area of activity. Describe it to yourself in detail. And say this to yourself: I create magic when I use my inherent gifts and talents. I honor the resources of skilled communication which is within me, and the full expression of my creative potential. It fulfills me and makes me happy and satisfied. But very often there's no need to rush things, because sometimes success comes to those who can bide their time. And I'm looking at this energy here in the middle, which is making itself very apparent to you, which is the Sun in Virgo. And this number 8 here, I've also got the mystical association with the planet of Mercury again. Now Mercury, of course, the Sun in Virgo, well, Mercury with this number 8, Mercury also rules, and Mercury is exalted in Virgo. So that's also enhancing that great mind and communication ability to you. This is very favorable because here the Sun is energizing the hard work of Virgo and Virgo's attention to detail. And you'll find that there is a flowering of internal and external richness with you. Now this number 8 here also for me stands for harmony, adjustment, balance, power, and decision. Now, as you are starting to unfold equally on all the different levels of your being, then you are going to find that this will affect your dealings on the material plane and also in your relationships with other people. This is really a time of flowering for you, so excesses and extremes really should be avoided. Sometimes there's a strength, you know, in doing nothing at all, sowing the seeds, watering them, fertilizing them, and waiting for the harvest to come. In a sense, I think what's being spoken to you of here, and which will be provided to you here, is the power of patience. Now, the world gives you plenty of opportunities to strengthen your patience. Now, while this truth can definitely be challenging at times, can't it? This is actually a good thing. Patience is a key that unlocks the door to a more fulfilling life. It is through a cultivation of patience that you become better parents, powerful teachers, great business people, great friends, and live a happier and abundant life. So I think that you will find that you need time and patience to develop this thing that you're working on. Don't rush it, as it's probably a long-term thing, and be prepared to bide your time and just allow it to come into flower. This is also encouraging you to keep doing what you're doing, as it's eventually going to lead to your success. Yeah, of course, it's going to require dedication and focus and patience, but you're the genius at those. You're the poster child for those.
And you'll find that as time just ticks away, you get closer to you. Now, it may not be apparent to you, but there are things which are going around in the fields of spiritual energy that are leading you to your destination. Do you know that which is coming into flower in you and in your life? It really is of exquisite beauty and delicacy. So provide for it now the protection and nourishment it needs. You don't have to force anything. You have the power. Everything for you unfolds at the proper time, doesn't it? Now, do ask yourself this, though. Are you giving yourself the protection and nourishment that you now need for your own development? And say this: I've got this under control, so I can just relax and trust life. And finally, we have this card, which is of a sort of there's a pleasure here, but it's like a mixture of different things going on in it, I think. This is the moon ruling the third decan of Cancer, that 12th to the 22nd of July. Well, the moon rules Cancer, as we saw here. And I think that the underlying message here is that you do want to live an emotionally fulfilling life, and this is promising. This is the potential of it to happen here. But perhaps you have been going about it the wrong way, do you think? Just examine what it is that you've been doing and saying. You know, the moon, well, that's associated with the principle of flux and change and tides. You might find that your emotional states may be shifting like the phases of the moon, but this nevertheless is also speaking like that ace of love, tenderness, care, and emotional riches. You know, this is part of the emotional richness that is going to be fulfilling you now. It's expressing itself in your environment through beauty and luxury, I think. But just to be aware of luxury, there's just something here that's making me think that. Yeah, and I think what it is just this sense of boredom and dissatisfaction, maybe with your environment with which perhaps you've become too familiar, or maybe looking at material things for happiness, where you could also, on another view, be seeking temporary pleasure as an escape for feelings of discontent, and that can lead to things like substance abuse and what have you. But you are far more focused and do have an understanding of what is required for success, because this is also reminding you that you do realize what you do have and you appreciate it, because you also know that a lot of other people, they are a lot worse off than you when it comes to looks, when it comes to the mind, when it comes to abilities. At this time, you are going to be given much love and devotion, so enjoy it without becoming dependent on it. But are there any relationships in which you do feel restricted? Say, I can deal with relationships using the power of mind and communication, which has come to me with Mercury, and resolve any difficulty that ever comes my way. What a fascinating spread of cards for you. Made all the better for you being here.
Well, I told you that was an interesting deck, didn't I? And I hope you enjoyed the reading as much as I did by providing it to you. And unless I see you separately for a clairvoyant reading or for healing, then I'll see you again next month. And until then, though, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.